From Washington, this is VOA News. Islamic militant group reportedly executes a British citizen. Uganda residents are warned of a possible al-Shabab attack. I'm Vincent Bruce, reporting from Washington. The group calling itself the Islamic State says it has executed British aid worker David Haines. The terrorist group released a video purportedly showing Haines being beheaded. The group had threatened to kill Haines if Britain joins a U.S.-led coalition to stop its campaign of terror aimed at creating an Islamic State from parts of Iraq and Syria. If confirmed, it will be Islamic State's third beheading of a captive foreigner in recent weeks. The militants have beheaded American journalist Jim Foley and Stephen Sotloff. Meanwhile, Iraqi Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi has ordered the country's Air Force to stop strikes on civilian areas held by Islamic State militants. Mr. Abadi said the extremists are using civilians as human shields and the deaths of innocent victims must be prevented. He said he issued the order to stop air attacks on Thursday. The U.S. Embassy in Uganda has warned American citizens in the country to remain at home or in a safe location as authorities investigate a possible terror attack. The embassy said Saturday it is in close contact with Ugandan authorities who are investigating what appears to be planning for an imminent attack by a terrorist cell run by the Somali terrorist group al-Shabab. The U.S. Embassy in Kampala said it was not aware of any specific targets. The Philippine Coast Guard is reporting 63 passengers have been rescued from a ferry that sank late Saturday in waters off the central island of Leyte. A Coast Guard spokesman said the Maharlika 2 sent a distress call after its rudder broke, leaving the vessel stalled as it was battered by heavy waves and high winds. This is VOA News. Army engineers in Pakistan have been breaching dikes in a bid to divert swollen rivers from flooded cities and towns across populous Punjab province. The flood crisis has killed nearly 300 people in Pakistan and disrupted life for more than 2 million others. Authorities in neighboring India also are stepping up rescue efforts in the portion of Kashmir they control. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry says it is only a matter of time before the threat of terrorism anywhere becomes the threat of terrorism everywhere. Kerry made that statement while he was in Cairo earlier Saturday after talks with Egyptian Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry. Kerry expressed confidence an international coalition will be successfully brought together.
I'm comfortable that this will be a broad-based coalition with Arab nations, European nations, with the United States, others contributing to every single different facet of what President Obama laid out as a strategy and fully embracing the need to degrade and destroy ISIL.
The trip to Cairo was his latest stop on a regional tour to forge an international coalition against members of the Islamic State. Pope Francis says the many conflicts around the world today could be considered a piecemeal World War III. Speaking today at Italy's memorial to 100,000 of its soldiers killed in World War I, the Pope described the current skirmishes and war as being fought with crimes, massacres, and destruction. The Pope has made repeated appeals in recent months for an end to conflicts in Ukraine, Iraq, Syria, Gaza, and parts of Africa. The first trucks in a Russian aid convoy crossed into eastern Ukraine early Saturday, carrying relief goods to the embattled city of Luhansk. Elsewhere in the region, the Ukrainian military said it had beaten back a rebel attack at the airport at Donetsk. Later in the day, Western journalists confirmed earlier reports of heavy fighting at the airport in Donetsk. The latest test of a shaky 9-day ceasefire signed by envoys from the rebel movement, the Kiev government, European monitors, and Russia. As those events on the ground unfolded, Ukraine's Prime Minister Arseniy Yatsenyuk accused Russian President Vladimir Putin of deliberately maintaining a state of war in Ukraine with the aim of destroying it as an independent country.
His goal is to take the entire Ukraine. He cannot cope with an idea that Ukraine would be a part of big EU family. He wants to restore the Soviet Union.
Mr. Yatsenyuk spoke in an address to an international forum in Kiev. More on all these stories at our website, voanews.com. I'm Vincent Bruce in Washington.
That's the latest world news from VOA.